What's happening, guys? It's VenomousFatman here again. I'm here on the bit, the boys in the tube. I'm sitting down with the gamer goddess. Now, before we talked about her origins, then we talked about the industry and her origins in the actual industry. Now let's get to the pastime everybody loves. Let's talk about games. Let's talk about games themselves. So, May, let me ask you, what is it about fighting games, at least, fighting games in general, whether it be Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Eternal Champions, or whatever have you, what is it about fighting games that really resonates with you?
Um, with me, it's kind of like a few things actually. One, I have a natural aptitude for it. For some reason, I can pick up a fighting game, and the learning curve is crazy. I pick it up right away, and I'm in there. And forget it. If I actually learn from somebody who knows how to play, then it's crazy. So that's the first thing. It comes pretty easily to me to play it. So I gotta love that. And then I just love the fast pace, beat 'em up. Your heart is pumping. You don't want to lose. It's like you got 3 rounds. You got to do it. As opposed to, I mean, of course I love playing, full games and playing through campaigns and taking my time with it. But there's a rush. I don't know, something get my heart, even now, it gets my heart racing just to like be in front of like a crowd of people and just like going head to head, like bashing somebody up. It's good stuff.
So, with all the fighting games that have been coming out recently, and then we got another one right over, the next couple of days, Mortal Kombat. What is it? Yeah, everybody's going to be playing Mortal Kombat. So, but I wanted to ask, what is it that you want to see more of in fighting games that are coming out now, or with fighting games in the nearby future, like either Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter X Tekken, Tekken Tag 2? What is it that you want to see more of in fighting games that you haven't been seeing a lot of lately?
Well, I guess what I haven't really been seeing a lot of is just like the uniqueness of the actual content. So, like for example, the new Mortal Kombat feels fresh. It feels ridiculously fresh. I mean, from the violence, from the combos, from that X-ray kind of technique thing going on, where you see yourself poking somebody's eyes out, like that is awesome and that is amazing. And yet it still feels like the original Mortal Kombat, but it definitely brings like a freshness to the industry, and I think that's what I'm hoping for. So, like for instance, I'm loving the crossovers. This year has been crazy with all these like crossovers announced, and like you said, Street Fighter versus Tekken, and then the new Marvel vs. Capcom 3 came out. Like I love that. That I definitely love also. But it still kind of feels the same. So like when I saw Street Fighter X Tekken, it was the Tekken characters pulled into the Street Fighter environment. And for me, that was a little sad because I actually was hoping to see it in reverse. And now, of course, they're saying that they are going to do it. They say there is going to be a Tekken versus Street Fighter, where the Street Fighter characters will come into the Tekken plane, into the Tekken universe. But since all they're really showing right now is SF versus Tekken, I don't know, because I've seen a lot of it. I'm a little Street Fightered out, I think.
It's a little too similar to Street Fighter 4.
So so I'm a little excited for Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. So, getting away from fighters for a second, what are some of the other genres that you actually love playing, like playing different games with it, whether it be solo or with friends?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Okay, can you hear me now? Yeah. What I was saying was that besides fighters and stuff, what are some of the other gaming genres that you actually love to actually play with, whether it be solo or with other friends, multiplayer?
I love RPGs. I'm a big fan of a lot of Square Enix's content.
Yeah.
Yeah, very big. Because I love a good story. There's nothing like wrapping yourself up in a character and their experiences and their heartaches and their struggles. So I'm definitely into games with content, and Square Enix is very good at delivering like compelling, like heart-wrenching stories and things like that. So, I mean, some of my favorites are Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Is a favorite of mine. Definitely the Final Fantasies I get into. But I'll pretty much play anything just as long as I feel like I'm getting something out of it. So although I'm not big on shooters, I'll play shooters in campaign mode for, just to get that kind of rich experience. And like another game that was actually really good for me. I'm big on Resident Evil, love Resident Evil. So I'm actually looking forward to the 3DS version. But I loved co-op mode on Resident Evil 5. Playing with somebody else throughout the whole campaign. I really enjoyed that. I'm actually really excited too about Gears 3 because I believe Gears 3 is going to have a 4-player campaign co-op mode, so we'll see. But I definitely love the experience of the story, and if I can share it with somebody else, I think it's even better. So
That should be pretty cool. We definitely got to talk about RPGs sometime, me and you, because.
yeah, absolutely love RPGs.
But anyway, going away from that, I wanted to ask you also, lately with everything that's been going on with the industry, with lately that's everything's been happening within the game industry, both, in the public eye and out of the public eye. What is it exactly, is a kind of two-part question. What is it exactly that you've been loving about the game industry that, you've been enjoying, and what is it that's really kind of got you irked and which got you a little bit annoyed about it?
Um, well, to talk about the positive, what I'm loving about the industry is how I feel like we're really getting into, like, you watch like the Jetsons, or you see some quirky cartoon about like life in the future, and or game virtual gaming, and then it's like next gen. I feel like we're really, really, really starting to explore that with technology, like with the Move and the Connect. I feel like we're crossing like a certain boundary that we couldn't cross before, and that's really exciting to imagine that maybe one day you really can, put this just little helmet on your head, and you're actually in the game. You're actually doing it. What I think is frustrating for me in the industry is just something I kind of brought up before, that whole repetitiveness, or that whole Me Too business, where it's just kind of like you go ahead and you create something original and something great and something you really worked on and put your heart into, and now there's so many like duplicates of it. I don't really recall that happening in the industry before, where it was like you would get 2 and 3 copies of the same thing. Like there only was one Double Dragon, or there only was one Mario. There wasn't really like 2 and 3 copies of it, or Mario Brothers, and then it was Mario, whatever. Like that frustrates me, and I feel like we do that a lot now. And if anything, it just makes the industry suffer. I know a lot of companies have actually suffered in this economy, and I feel like some of it has to do with that, of copycats.
Yeah, do you ever think like we're going to get to a point where, that pretty much stops, or maybe we'll start getting much more uniqueness on all different fronts, or do you think it's going to continue for years maybe, or for a really long time?
I honestly, I think it'll continue. I think it'll be. I mean, because that's just the sake of the business. It's just gaming has become such a platform for making money. I mean, and rightfully so, because people enjoy it. But it's such a platform for making money. There's always going to be somebody who's more interested in how much they can make off of a game, as opposed to the kind of game they can actually make.
Do you think it maybe is due to maybe a bunch of people that are in like much more like making the big decisions that aren't necessarily gamers, aren't necessarily, have a know-how about the gaming industry, and much more towards like the business aspect of it?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like people who are more business minded and more invested financially than they are creatively, or even have a heart for gaming, are the ones making the decisions. I'm sure a lot of the people on the development teams doing the art, doing the programming, I'm sure a lot of them have a love for games and are probably not happy with having to recreate something that somebody already else did. But, it's a paycheck. It's how you make your money. So you got to do it.
Very true. So, kind of before we kind of get towards the end of this actual interview, I wanted to ask also, is there one specific thing that, besides of what you've said it before, if you have already, one specific thing that you want to see the industry do to make it kind of grow, kind of in the nearby or the far future? It could be any one thing that you want.
I would say just to keep like pushing the boundaries of technology and keep pushing the boundaries of creativity. I love when a company does that. One example of that is I feel like Nintendo does that. I feel like Nintendo tries to be that game changer. I feel like they try to come out with products that nobody else is really touching on, and I can appreciate that. Like whether it works or not. The Wii is not perfect, but it was really fresh for its time. The controls, everything. Like nobody else was really doing that. The 3DS is great. It's definitely a game changer. The 3D without the glasses. Like that's what I definitely want. Like keep pushing, keep trying different things. Like it's only going to improve the game overall. It's only going to make other people work twice as hard, and that's where the good content comes from. Like you squeeze the fruit and get the juice. That's the only way it's going to happen.
Really quickly now, going off from that, do you think maybe we're going to see something like that happen or something along those lines at this year's E3?
Oh, definitely. Of course, like I don't know if you've heard, but a lot of people have heard about the rumors about the Wii 2.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like floating around right now. I don't. I mean, I had spoken to a few PR people over at Nintendo, and they, said it was just a rumor. But I can't exactly, I can't exactly believe that because a lot of these PR companies have to protect their client and, things like that. But I definitely think so. I definitely think that we're in line to see some great stuff at E3, including the Wii 2, even though they're saying it's just rumors. I mean, especially with the launch of the 3DS, like you kind of expect the Wii, the light that it's casting puts the Wii in a big shadow. Like it just really puts like the darkness on top of it. So you got to keep stepping it up because now I'm looking at Nintendo to wow me. Another thing is I'm just looking for a lot of new approaches to gaming. Like LA Noire looks ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
I cannot wait to play it, and it's along the lines of Heavy Rain. It really changed the way you play the game. Like it was unique. It was wonderful. So I'm just really excited about LA Noire too. So that's what I'm hoping to see, and I'm pretty sure we will see that this year's E3. Just new takes on how to experience like the gaming culture.
Yeah, I mean, this year's E3 looks like it's probably going to be a big eye opener. So there's a lot of hopes, a lot of dreams for it. So let's see what happens. Yeah, me too. So anyway, we've come towards the end of this actual interview. Is there any like last minute people that you want to shout out or ran out, whatever have you?
Of course, I have to give love to my team, to Hip Hop, the Solid Proof, and the Blacksmith. They are my biggest supporters, and I love them so much. And just, I want to shout you guys out, definitely, like, for having me. This has been a really cool interview. You are super easy to talk to. I loved it.
Yeah, it's got to be really chill. I told you. Got to stay epic. Anyway, would you say, in your opinion, this was an epic interview?
I would say it was an epic interview, even though I do not work for Epic. I'd like to think that I'm pretty epic, so.
Yes, you are really epic. Okay. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. You could definitely check out the Gamer Goddess here, both on hiphopgamershow.com from the Sweet Spot podcast and the Hotspot podcast, or the videocast, whichever one. I get them confused. But and also, I got it right. Okay, cool. But besides that, also on Twitter, it's the Gamer Goddess, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
/thegamergoddess.
So you, that's exactly how you guys are looking at it now. So anyway, this has been fun. Obviously, I've had a great time. Have you had a great time, May?
I did. Thank you so much again.
All right, guys. So anyway, this is the end of the interview. This has been The BITT, the boys in the tube from both the Gamer Goddess and VenomousFatman. We'll see you guys again soon.